Course is live, but before you rush off and start the course, wait just a little bit. I'm going to go through some of the common questions now about Premiere Pro. So, are you ready? We are now going to cover some of the really common questions I get about Premiere Pro and video editing in general. Are you ready? Let's go. So, let's talk about questions. Got them all here. Probably the most common, well, what is it for first? Like, what does Premiere Pro do? It's video editing. And who is it for? So Premiere Pro is one of those general programs, okay? It gets used by both amateurs and professionals. So like it gets used for feature-length movies, okay? Things like, some of the last ones were like, that I remember, were like Deadpool and Hail Caesar and one of the Terminator movies. They were all done and edited in Premiere Pro, okay? So it covers that, but it also covers all the kind of more like me people who are more in the, who is it for? So kind of like YouTubers. I'm a kind of a YouTuber. I'm on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook right now, but a lot of my videos go out to that. I, make my own videos for my courses. That's all done, but it's also for, loads of different people that are in the kind of like social media scene. Like, because it's part of Adobe, a lot of creators use it for a lot of different things. So that's what it's for, video editing. So are there some competitors to Premiere Pro? That's the question. Which one should I learn? It doesn't really matter, okay? If you look at the industry you want to get into, if you want to be a generalist like me, bit of web video, bit of online YouTube-y stuff, bit of social media, documentary kind of stuff, then Premiere Pro is perfect for you. And there are competitors like Avid and DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut Pro and Vegas Pro, and there's a lot of them. Those would be like the high-level expensive versions that professionals are using, and they'll call themselves like, they'll be a full-time video editor. For me, I'm not. I'm a generalist. I'm all over the place. So it would be competing with things like, if you know Filmora, or like Final Cut Pro's kind of up there and down here as well. It's kind of a really good competitor to Premiere Pro and where it sits in the market. Premiere has other versions. There's Premiere Elements, which is kind of getting phased out, and Premiere Rush, which is more like, it's a simplified version of it. And I guess like, which version should you, which bit of program should you use? It doesn't really matter. Like, if you're ready to learn Premiere Pro because it's part of the software, that the subscription that you've already got, it's perfect for it. Even if you end up cutting over to Final Cut Pro because that's the job you get, learning a non-linear editor doesn't really matter. Like, you'll end up having to spend a few days kind of working out where the tools that you were in this, this software is over here, but the process is the same. Once you get some experience in a software, switching over, I don't know, the rule is you have to complain for 2 days about it's better in Premiere Pro in this one, but then you end up doing pretty well at it. Like, it's not a big, you don't have to commit. You're not signing your life to Premiere Pro when you sign up, or Avid or Vegas or anything. So yeah. What kind of computer hardware do I need? What's the minimum requirements? What's the recommended? Never check the minimum. Premiere Pro is a video editing program. Video editing is very taxing on a machine. So if you look then you're like, oh, I'm going to buy the minimum requirements because that's what they said. Never do that. Buy the recommended requirements, because you will hate video editing real quickly if your machine is struggling. So there's kind of like 2 main things to look at for a computer, or just decide whether your computer can do it, is you need some RAM, okay? It says the minimum is 8, but really you need 16 or 32. I have 64, okay? And 64 gigabytes of RAM is a really nice editing experience. But 16 will do it, 32 will be great, 64 will be better, 8 will be no fun at all. You can do it though. In terms of, the other thing you need to look at, so RAM's one, and the other one is kind of VRAM, or your graphics card, or your GPU, okay? It's still the same kind of measurement, so in terms of RAM, okay, it needs kind of, minimum's 2, but really you need 4. Okay, 4 gigabytes of VRAM would be awesome. And the last little bonus one, if you have got a computer and it's running okay, but not great, 2 things you can do, okay, is go buy an external SSD drive, solid state drive, and watch the advanced course, because I go through and show you how to basically have everything on that solid state drive, except for Premiere Pro, which is on your normal desktop, and that can just make life run real good. And the other one is Proxies. Proxies is a fancy way of, I'll talk about Proxies a bit more. I talk about them loads in the course. Basically, they are placeholders. Okay, they're a way of going, say, I've got this big file that's slowing down my computer. Let's make a teeny tiny version and we'll edit that. But when I export, it goes and grabs the big version and switches it out. You get what I mean? Anyway. There's a whole video of that in the course. Who would most benefit from learning Premiere Pro? That's another question I get. Like career swapping kind of, like who would do this? Like obviously there's going to be people that are, coming straight in, if you're going to be a film editor, yeah, Premiere Pro is going to be, one of the tools that you could use. But the people that are maybe switching careers, okay, I guess you're going to have to do two things. You're going to have to learn how to do technical kind of stuff like here in Premiere Pro, like I'm teaching you. I'm pointing down here. There's nothing there. It's my laptop, but it's a placeholder. Okay, so you have to learn Premiere Pro, but also you have to learn how to edit properly. Okay, film school style. Okay, so let's talk about people who are like me, crossing over. You might have some creativeness. Okay, it might be in tapestry or wood turning or something else. Premiere Pro can, like for me, it's such a value add when I get to say to my clients and support them fully with video, even though like I am not a full-time video editor, okay? I don't claim to be, but I use it all the time with my web projects, okay? So if you're a web designer, okay, or a UX UI designer, imagine, you can see websites, they all have video. Video is such an important part of our world at the moment. And traditional graphic design, like it gets harder and harder just to stick to that. You got to really get your niche going. But in terms of generic graphic designer these days, there's nothing generic about it. We were laughing at Bring Your Laptop. Victoria got sent like a job request, and it was like UX designer, 3D modeler, motion graphics. I'm pretty sure she had to like, I don't know, know how to sew as well. Like they threw everything in there. But it's laughable, totally. But when you get to go to your freelance client or that job interview and you've got some basic video skills, like it's such a murky world, okay, for the people that don't know it, that haven't done my courses, okay? They're adding that to your repertoire, even if you don't do it all the time, you don't want to do it all the time, you just want to support your craft, your business, your clients' businesses. Those are the people that Premiere Pro is perfect for. It's something that is part of the Creative Cloud. Yeah, that's my answer to that question. Other questions? What should you learn in conjunction with Premiere Pro? To get the most value out of it. The easiest one is After Effects. So Premiere Pro is amazing. It's a video editor. You take existing footage and you cut it, tell a story, transitions. You can do interesting kind of effects with motion graphics more and more. You used to only have to have Premiere Pro and After Effects open to do anything creative or exciting with graphics. Premiere Pro now can do quite a lot without After Effects, but the very next step for you, if that's the thing after this course, is After Effects. Think of it as like, you don't often bring stuff into After Effects. Often you create things, like it makes things from nothing. You can create amazing graphics and motion graphics and special effects, and it supports and they kind of go between each other. Trying to do special effects in Premiere Pro is very slow and hard on the machine and terrible. Doing the exact same thing in After Effects is snappy and fast and it's got all the controls you need. Another one that used to be connected to Premiere Pro a lot was Audition, okay, which is their video audio editing. If you've opened it and you don't know it, it can be quite daunting. And that's probably the most exciting thing in the recent probably 2 years of Premiere Pro, is that basically they robbed all the good stuff out of Audition that we had to go over to correct footage and fix stuff and balance stuff and do some amazing mastering of audio, and they brought it into Premiere Pro in something called the Essential Sounds panel. Okay, so they brought a lot of that technology in. So very real, like in the course, I do a tiny bit of Audition when we have to do some funny background music stuff. But most of that stuff that I used to teach in class, when we go, okay, now open Audition, we don't have to. It's all built into Premiere Pro. So that's the kind of, in conjunction, then it's kind of basic shooting skills. So if you're not, if you're shooting your own content like I do, I didn't go to film school, so I learned from the internet like you're doing. And I don't know, in terms of setting lighting and, transitions and cuts and the way to shoot things and the way to tell a story, there's a couple of people like, for me, my YouTube, when I was getting started especially, was Peter McKinnon, Parker Warback, and what's his name, Daniel Schiffer. Those guys I'll put those names in the comments under the video here because I read them out quickly, but those guys there are just, I don't know, they give away a lot and it's brilliant. Like, yeah, amazing stuff to get your kind of shooting and editing skills up outside of the technical stuff that I often do here in these courses. All right, other things, let's have a look. And how do you, so how can you get started? So getting started with Premiere Pro, if you haven't done it yet, there is a trial, okay? And you probably want to get started with my Premiere Pro Essentials rather than the Advanced course, okay? So Essentials covers all the basics. We start with assuming you know nothing, okay? You get to the end of that course, and then you can pick up the Advanced course, and that'll get your, even at the end of the Essentials course, you'll be able to create some amazing things. And it's after you've played with that a while, then the Advanced course is going to take you to that kind of like next level. All the courses have fun student projects, okay, so that you can practice while you're working. You get to upload them, get commented from our TAs. The TAs are there to help all the time through the courses. Okay, there is an amazing bunch of teaching assistants. You don't know what a TA is? I do. It's a teaching assistant, and they are there to answer your questions. So post the questions, get help, and certificates. So while you're working through the course, post the course, the class projects, and you can get a certificate at the end. What else? So basic, let's do a last little rapid fire, ask your questions. I'm going to start with some like live Q&A in a second now. Just ask questions about video, Premiere Pro, general stuff is okay. But let's cover a couple of basic terms that scare people off, because what I really want to do is introduce you a little bit to Premiere Pro here. It's obviously very ad lib, but I also want to, I put myself back whenever I'm thinking about you guys and getting started. I remember when I got started, I'm pretty resilient. I'm like, I'm going to learn this software no matter what, and I go through and I'm like, okay, all these terms, all these scary people, all this scary industry. I was prepared to go through that. What I want to do is kind of maybe break down a few of the terms that might be scaring you at the moment to show you that they're just terms to learn and a language to understand, and to give things like video editing. It doesn't even have to be Premiere Pro. I don't mind. It doesn't have to be my course in Premiere Pro. Go find somebody else's. I want you to kind of add video editing to your skill set, even if it's just a teeny tiny bit, okay? Because it just opens so many doors, video. It's such a boom at the moment. Communicating your story through video is so much rich and rewarding through video. And so let's, a couple of ones. 4K HD, 4K big, HD small. A lot of people still shoot HD. Should you be shooting in 4K? We do, but it's really stressful on your machines, okay? But it's basically the resolution, how big it is. 4K big, HD quite small. Standard definition, even smaller, okay? They talk about NLE all the time. Oh, there's an NLE. You're like, what is this NLE? It's a non-linear editor. And you're like, that didn't help. What's a non-linear editor? Like, it's one of those terms where it's there and it doesn't mean anything anymore. Like a linear editor used to be when they used to get tapes, like, old file, you've seen them, the tapes and like cinema tapes, and they used to cut things and put them together on one, okay? And that was very linear, okay? Non-linear means digital, okay? So non-linear editors, you will see them all like the best non-linear editors, and they're just a computer version of an editor instead of using the old snippy scissors and trying to stick things together that way. That's how they used to do it. FPS, frames per second. Okay, that's another term that scares people off. All it is film isn't live. What you're watching right now through the screen isn't live footage. It is flashes of images going fast enough that you can't decide, you can't tell, your little puny human brain can't tell the difference between live action, like in your room right now, and watching a video. Okay, frames per second. High frames per second, you can barely tell. Low frames per second, it gets really jumpy and gross. Okay, so frames per second, FPS. Another term, aspect ratio. Aspect ratio, this, what is that? 9:16? This is 16:9. Aspect ratio is just like how wide versus tall it is. It's another scary word that you see lots of, and it's just like some aspect ratios are like this, some are like this, some square aspect ratio. It's a fancy word for what the shape looks like. How high is it versus how wide? Okay, another one is bitrate. Bitrate is the quality of a video. Okay, it is to do with like every one of those little frames that when we talk about frames per second, how good are they? Are they good quality bitrate? Okay, the higher the bitrate, the more complex every frame is. Okay, I'm simplifying quite a bit, trying to make it feel simple and not that hard. Okay, so yeah, bitrate is the quality. Crank it right up, it is beautiful, cinema quality, but a ginormous. Crank it right down, it's a really small MP3, but it is crap quality. There you go. B-roll. B-roll is anything outside of the A-roll. A-roll is this, me and you communicating in the interview. If we cut away now to something, I don't have anything to cut away to, but it's a shot of me doing something else, or I'm talking about Premiere Pro. If we cut away now to Premiere Pro, like the interface, that would be the B-roll. A-roll, the good stuff, and B-roll, supporting footage. It's another term. Anyway, color grading. Color grading is color correction, which is like making it better. Okay, if it looks terrible and dark, you're color correcting, and color grading is giving it a feeling, an emotion. Like most of the time, your color grading is making it just feel engaging and warm. So you're still color grading. You're trying to kind of add some sort of like trying to make it nice. Okay, rather than just fixing it. But then there's like extreme color grading, like Mad Maxy, Aliens movie, The Matrix. It's all that kind of like dark and green. They've done that on purpose. They've graded that because they didn't shoot it like that. They showed it beautifully. It looked like me and you right now. But then they graded it to make it look like that, to convey a message. Another one is, there's two more, if you're getting bored. There's two more. Codecs. Codecs, you're like, ooh, that's a scary word that comes up quite a bit. Codec is the way your camera will grab a bunch of information and record it, okay, in a certain codec, okay, and that determines the quality of it, what it excludes, what it includes, how much, how much the camera absorbs, okay, and then what you do with it. So say you use a codec that like a raw codec or something that takes in a lot of footage. Okay, or a lot of information, because later on you get to work with that information and you've got so much to play around with, okay, but the file sizes are huge. So like a ProRes codec is pretty big footage, pretty great looking footage, but the file sizes are gigabytes, okay? Whereas if you've got a codec like H.264, another scary term, but that's just a codec that is really compressed. It is like, it looks good enough. Most of the stuff you've ever watched is H.264 codec, okay? And the file size is teeny tiny. Way! So that's the trade-off. There are some codecs that are ginormous, but great quality. Some of them that are teeny tiny, but crap quality. And there are a bunch of different codecs in there that kind of fill different holes. That's a codec. Another one is codec containers. Should I go into this? Might as well. MP4 is just the name, the container that a codec has, or a .mov. .mov can have a lot of different kinds of codecs in it. It can have our ProRes, can have a bunch of other ones, okay, Cineform, okay, and the container is .mov. Has nothing to do with the codec. You don't think, oh, I'm going to make an MP4 or a .mov. That is something that is just kind of slapped on at the end that holds that codec. So you can have a really big, giant file size, great quality MOV, and you can have a teeny tiny one as well. They're using different codecs. Last one, pre-production, production, post-production. I remember when I was getting started, didn't go to film school, got scared by these terms. This is the last one that scared me. Pre-production, before you start filming. Production, actually filming. Post-production, what you're doing in Premiere Pro. after the production. You're editing it all up. Pre-production is things like organizing the talent and get everything kind of like nailed down, hiring the equipment, plotting out scenes, you know, getting that all done, scripts. Production is actually people running around with, you know, microphones and cameras. And then post-production is what not most of us, but a lot of us that dabble in it are going to be taking some of our own footage. You might be doing production, okay? You might be, I do my own production. I got a camera and I do stuff. And then a lot of us will be just taking that footage from camera, you know, operators and stock library stuff and doing our post-production, which is the editing part afterwards. All right, it is Q&A time. So I'm going to check in a second to see if there's any questions, but drop them into the comments now. I'm going to start answering them. I'll answer them for a while. You can see the end of this video, how long I'm going to do, probably about 15, 20 minutes, and it ends up being half an hour. But let's have a little look. So, how can I get a certificate? I've talked about that one. You go and do the course, okay? Watch all the videos, and then upload all the assignments. And at the end of that, there's a button that says, you know, there is a certificate section that says, I'd like to apply for a certificate, please. And a TA will go and check your work, make sure you've done everything, and then award you that beautiful certificate. Amy, what are the top 3 techie trends that designers are using in Premiere Pro? Probably the techie, like the worst ones, like the lens flares of video editing is things like barn door transitions, okay, or blinds. You know what I'm talking about? Page peels, those are the worst ones. In terms of generic stuff, I don't know. I have fallen victim to too much music up too loud, okay? Just try and either hide music or try and six up a terrible video with music, okay? Or like intros that don't really support what you're doing, or they take a long time, okay? Or coming in first when maybe they should come in a little bit later. Those are my pet peeves for watching people's videos. You've all probably got them. Dorian Barber, if we do your classes on Skillshare, how do we gain certificates on your website? So if you want to do them on Skillshare, it'll be out on there soon. Totally do that. The certificates for Bring Your Laptop are for people on Bring Your Laptop. So if you want to, let's say you do want to, like, you know, you continue your subscription there because that's great for you, and I love Skillshare and the courses will be there. But you just want the certificate, what you can do is show us a screenshot. You have to sign up for Bring Your Laptop. It could just be for a month or a year, okay? But just sign up for the shortest, you know, for the time that you want to, and then you can apply. Take a screenshot of all the videos you've watched. This is applied for Udemy or Skillshare. Take a screenshot of this, you know, the videos all watched. You can see they're all ticked, and you'll have to go and upload all your class projects. So just keep those in a folder somewhere, and then you can apply for the certificate, and that's how you get it from us. And Phil Hudson, is Premiere Pro Advanced course going to be on Udemy? Can I buy it? You can. It'll be 2 weeks from now-ish. We're just getting it ready now. We used to kind of hold everything back and try and do it all at the same time, but we're just doing them as they come ready. And Udemy and Skillshare often will be at the same time, so look out for social media when those are going to be out. Toxic Hamid, when will be rendering of your shirt complete? After my sleep tonight. Earl Grey Glade Johnson. I wish for UX Adobe XD certification. Totally. We are trying to roll them out, and rolled out Photoshop last month. Yep. And Premiere Pro, 2 of them today, and we'll keep chugging through them. Coming soon. Jordan Bassett, I edited a video with 2 audio files. One, the mic was attached. Stop moving it. One was attached to the camera and one wasn't. I used the one on the camera audio and it was cut up. Is there any way I can auto cut the audio, better audio? So, if you've already done it, it's tough. But the first thing you need, like, it's really easy if you want to drag in you drag in your video with the crap audio, then bring in and basically bring it into your program panel. Select the video with the crap audio and your MP3 or WAV file. Select them both, right-click them, and say make multicam. Oh, I've forgotten what it is. It is sync audio. Oh, it's in the advanced course. You can do that. And you can say, use the audio from the track, from whatever it is, and it will ditch the bad audio and link it up with the good audio. After you've chopped it all up, can you do it? I don't think you can once it's all chopped up. There might be a trick. I'll have to look into Premiere Pro. All right, Arslan, why Premiere Pro can't do advanced After Effects stuff within itself? It does more and more now. There's something called the Essential Graphics panel, and it will bring in something called Mogarts from After Effects, but they're just designed differently. It's like trying to get delivery van to race in the Formula One and vice versa, trying to deliver stuff in your Formula One. They're just built differently. They're not better or worse than each other. They're just purposely built. They're just built on a structure that one can't do the other. And that's why we need two of them. They just operate differently. Okay, Yellow Van. As a student, aspiring filmmaker, what is the best thing to know about Premiere Pro? Best thing to know about Premiere Pro. If you haven't got into it yet, or if you're new to Premiere Pro, probably some of the nicer stuff is like 2 best tips for somebody who's new that, knows how to add files and stuff. But the 2 best fits is color matching. There is a feature now in Premiere Pro that people don't know about. You can grab a whole bunch of footage and say color match, and it matches them all up. So they all look like they were shot, even though they're shot in different places. They're not perfect, but it gets you pretty close for a lot of jobs. And the other one is the Essential Sounds panel. Okay, when you can select a bunch of, you can identify dialogue and music and just identify them using that and say auto level, and it will make dialogue across a bunch of different people and a bunch of different scenes and different microphones, at least at the same kind of decibel level. And it's just a big time saver. And it's something, if you're new, you might muddle around with it, and not know. There you go. JTech, how is screen recording done? So you can't record, like Premiere Pro is an editing program. It doesn't create much. You can do voiceover into Premiere Pro, does that fine. But in terms of screen capture, you need another bit of software. I'm on a Mac, I use Camtasia, brilliant for it. Okay, and we do a lot of the light editing in Camtasia. It's really good for just chopping things up and doing zooms. Okay, you can do all those in Premiere Pro. Often we'll do those first and then put it into Premiere Pro for like mastery, okay, getting all the colors right and combining it with headshots, which Camtasia can't do. It's just a screen recorder, and fixing all the audio and balancing it all out and exporting it right. That's how that process works for us for our screen recordings. Runner, will this course also be on Skillshare? It will. It will be really soon. Jitu, is it possible to auto-create the subtitles in Premiere Pro? You can, as of Tuesday. Was that a leading question? Okay, so update Premiere Pro. It came out on Tuesday. I had to spend yesterday updating a video of a course that hadn't come out yet because they released a new update. So obviously I'll be updating the course as we go along, but they released that feature. Okay, it came out, Tuesday. I recorded it Wednesday. Taylor was editing it Thursday, and here we are. So yes, check it out. It's like, I remember it's 114, the video number. It's around there, towards the end of the course. Okay, and basically it'll automatically transcribe for you. Click a button that says automatically transcribe, and it is ace. Can't believe how good it is. And then there's another button that says make those transcripts captions, and it does. It's brilliant. So you can burn them in for social media or export them kind of as a sidecar to get out to where you need it to go. Good question. JWDG, let's start again. JWGD2, okay. Thank you, Dan, and the entire Bring Your Laptop team. You are amazing and changing lives. Thanks, person. JWGD2. It is a pretty amazing place for us all to be in. Like, it's kind of all wins, We love what we do. I love what I do. The team loves what they do, and we get to help people, and we get lovely comments like that. Like, man, there's not many jobs in the world that allow that sort of joy pretty much every day. So thanks for that. Demiana, does the advanced course contain cinematic stuff? And if it has, can you tell how much of it? Cinematic stuff. You mean like the cinematic look? Okay. that is one of those things where I'm not exactly sure what you mean, so I'm just going to burble a bit and hopefully it's in there somewhere. The cinematic look is like a color grade. And once you, like, the course is about teaching you how to do all the different, how to do whatever you want with the course. Okay, I show you how I do my cinema grade. Okay, but that's just one video of like the Hollywood cinema grade. Then I do another one on like the indie look. But what I mean by, we only do those two things. We do all the things that the cinema houses use the software to do those things, but then you got to decide what you want your look to be. If you want it to look like Matrix, the whole course gives you the tools on how to do that. Okay, but in terms of the look, like we're giving you cinematic, the course gives you all the cinematic tool sets, and then you got to decide what you want. And I give you what I think a really good cinematic look looks like with the bars and the kind of emotion in it, and then I do an indie version. Then after that, it's kind of, you decide what it is. There you go. Amy H. Marrying videos with web, like a big video on a homepage, what are the best practices? Basically, you've got to use a really fast host for that video is the main thing. Don't host it on your website. Find something like Vimeo or Wistia or YouTube. Okay, YouTube devalues it a little bit. Maybe it doesn't anymore. But find a really good host is the main point. They need to stream it around the world. Okay, find out where your market is. If you got a website in India, okay, and that's the Indian market, you got to check that the host company that you are using to store the videos has servers in India or China or the Middle East or wherever it is. Just check that if that's really important to go fast. Then make it an H.264 codec. Okay, grab the bitrate, and in Media Encoder, we do this in the course, go through, basically the bitrate, remember, is the quality of every frame. So basically export it as an MP4, H.264, okay, that's the codec, and then duplicate all the outputs and just render it like 5 times. One at 10, 10, a bitrate at 10, then one at 7, then one at 4, and one at 3 and 2. Just do a few of them and then see what you can live with. Okay, and then you go like, okay, this one's 10 megabytes and looks great. This one is 2 megabytes but looks terrible. And then just find the size that works for you. And after a few of those, you'll be like, it's always 6 for what I do. And it will depend on what you're actually, if it's screencast, it can get really low in that bit rate if nothing's moving. But if you're doing lots of like movement and people doing lots of actions and stuff, you need the bit rate to be higher. Okay, so it's not like a one-stop shop, but just do that. Export it as an H.264 MP4 and then go 12, 10, 8, 6 for the type of footage, and you'll get a sense for it after a while. Okay, Shankar. Dan, how much time do we have to wait for the After Effects Essentials in Advanced? Yeah, not sure. I've done After Effects. I didn't call it Essentials, which is terrible. I called it Motion Graphics and After Effects, Infographics. So there's 2 of them out there, and they are starting from 0 and get you through it. I want to do an Essentials because that's what everyone wants. But those ones do start at nothing and kind of like get you through to a pretty good place. Now, which one should you do first? If you want general After Effects skills, go to the After Effects Motion Graphics course. Okay, that one gives you a good, yeah, that's the one, next one. And then the one that says Infographics, and that one there is, just trying to think of the names, yeah. The infographic one is more for like graphic designers wanting to take their illustrated designs and kind of show information, okay, in designs and real kind of like linear graphics. Okay, so decide which one you want to do. But yes, I'll do Essentials and then Advanced. Okay, JWGD2. I have to write stuff in the air when it's confusing. Helps me read it out. Okay, does the course cover when, what things do in After Effects and how to incorporate into Premiere Pro? It doesn't cover everything that After Effects does. It shows you how to incorporate it in. So I do a small project in there where I say, let's export something to After Effects. We do a little thing in After Effects and then bring it back in. And then we create a little MoGART, like motion graphics template in After Effects, and then bring that into Premiere Pro to be able to reuse. Okay, so it's not a Premiere, you're not going to know After Effects afterwards, but if you have some After Effects knowledge, you will definitely know how to integrate with Premiere Pro really well. Okay, Philippines Cheeks. Is it better to get certified through Adobe or your course for jobs? Certification is either one. The industry is looking for portfolio. That's what you need to work on. What certificates are good for are like getting with things like getting that kind of first interview. Okay, it is in addition to helping you get that first kind of job interview. But really, video, they want to see your portfolio. They want to see what you do, okay, and how well you do it. Certificates are great milestones for you as well, okay, to get here and to have accomplished it and to be able to tell people. It gives you that, what I find for me, like I'm like technically very skilled, like in lots of software, but I love my certificates that I've got. Doesn't matter where they've come from, okay, because they're a marker for myself, the confidence in myself. They're like, I did that at that time. I wasn't that before. I'm that now, and it helps me portray that when I do go to those interviews. So which one? It doesn't matter. The Adobe one's a lot harder, okay, and I think it costs $150. There's nothing wrong with it, okay, it's great, I've got it. I have to get it to be Adobe Certified Instructor. It's pretty tough, at least the Adobe Certified Expert one is. The one for our one, it's more of like a completion certificate, but more, you have to have done the videos and you have to have done the assignments. So there's a lot more value to that rather than just a like, hey, I let the videos play. All right, next one, Yusuf. In the future, is there any project for Illustrator certificate? Yep, that'll be coming really soon. Anita B, what about DaVinci? Is it for free and people say, is it just as good? DaVinci is free and it is just as good. Video, like, to be honest, it doesn't really matter, like to communicate a story. Is it better? I think Premiere Pro is better than DaVinci, but there'll be a bunch of people that will say the opposite, okay? I like it because it ties in with my world of Adobe. DaVinci is specifically only video. So the crossover from Adobe stuff is worth it for me. And yeah, they're equal. Even though I want to say Premiere Pro was better, but if there was a fight, I'd say it was equal. There'd be losses on both sides. Vocab. How to actually learn design because learning tools does not help in creating the good design. Exactly. So I teach tools. I like to try during my course to teach best practices and a bit of creativity, but you're right. Okay. To learn creativity is, for me personally, is about doing stuff. That's why I make sure in the courses there is class projects all the way through, but you're totally right. You can't like be good at Photoshop. There's lots of people who are great at Photoshop that are terrible designers. And that's not good or bad. That's just, there's people that are great designers who can't use the software, and it's hard that way as well. So for me, it's all about doing stuff consistently, frequently, pushing yourself, and finding mentors. I feel like going to art school like I did, it was useful, but it was for me growing up. I grew up at a university. I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I loved it. It was great fun. I wouldn't go back there now, no way. I would learn online. I'd find mentors, either just digitally, like follow them online, or actually try and find them in person for meetups and stuff and build my creativity that way. Jeff Handley, Premiere Pro Essentials rock my world and changed my direction in my life in a great way. I can't wait to take the course. Woohoo! I really appreciate that, Jeff. It is cool, hey, like I teach Photoshop and a few other ones, and they're not all of them easy. Premiere Pro is the hardest one. It is the one when you open it up and you go like, what do I do? So I get really, I got a lot of joy out of seeing people get into video editing, okay? And because of that course, okay? And I've spent a lot of effort trying to make it feel small steps, baby steps, getting used to it until you get to past it and you're like, my goal is for you to be swaggering around afterwards going like, I know how to video edit it. I know how to use this it is. I didn't make Premiere Pro. It's been around a long time, so it's got a lot of like baggage that comes with it. But if, I hope that those courses really point you to the good bits. The same with this advanced course. There is a lot of ways of doing the same thing. Like color grading, there's a bunch of different tools. I've tried to get the most appropriate, the most like the best and the most commonly used ones out, rather than covering every single feature. Like covering every single feature is not what you want. You want to know how to do something and the best way to do it. And that's, I guess, my job, is to try and go through there and figure out, like, there is a zillion sound settings. There are so many switches you can turn on and off. But I've kind of hopefully got up to a point where you can do amazing things and everything you want to. Plus, I've hopefully taught you how to fish in the sense of, like, you can go off now and figure out anything else extra that you need to on your own. Arslan, can you specify encoding or decoding part of the exporting part? Can you specify the encoding and decoding part of the export part? Can you specify? You can, yeah, you can tell exactly what kind of encoding you want. Decoding is done by the player. There's transcoding, which we do in the software, where we basically change formats to make it easier to edit. It's one of the big things in the course. We kind of do it at the beginning. We look at proxies. It's big, it's ugly. It's not big and ugly. It seems big and ugly and scary, but it's the thing that makes life so much easier as an editor once you learn how to transcode things into different formats, so that Premiere Pro is like happy editing it, and then you kind of send it off for encoding for the final encoding. Hopefully that answers you. Tomas Anderson, H.264 versus 265. Yeah, I'm kind of dabbling with 265. It's the kind of newer version. I'm stuck with, there's not a big visual and size difference, and it's more to do with player compatibility for me at the moment, and I don't think the benefits are there yet. It depends where it's going. If it's going to YouTube, they break it down into whatever they like anyway. Same with Facebook. So it depends where you're going. I prefer interoperability. Okay, so I use H.264. But like, I didn't do 4K. I was like, nope, don't need 4K. Definitely don't need 4K. And then I bought a camera with 4K, and I'm like, I am so into 4K. So I'm not passionate either way. I'm just using H.264 because it's easy and everyone is using it, and I can send it anywhere and it works, and any old player will play it. That's my opinion. Demiana, any chance you're going to make a course about 3D animation? Yeah, I want to do. Adobe bought a bunch of 3D programs, some really good ones. So I want to get into them more. I'm kind of, Cinema 4D is my thing, but it's mainly for motion graphics. So I would have to do an essentials, but I could never do an advanced. And what I would recommend is, like, if you're looking for that, and I'm not going to get onto it straight away, so I would look at Lucas Ridley. He is like a buddy of mine. He's worked on movies like the Lego shorts. He's worked on the Avengers, lots of things like that, and he's an amazing trainer, so go check him out. We will have a course from Lucas very soon. Are we allowed to say that yet? I'm not sure we are. Anyway, there's going to be a course on Bring a Laptop specifically, very soon, like in the next month or so, okay, about animation from Lucas. But until then, go check him out personally, Lucas Ridley. He's amazing for 3D. Essentially Maya. I know he's got some other things coming out. John Richard, please make course in Adobe Animate and graphics design theory, color theory, text theory. That is another interesting one. So color theory, I've done a YouTube show on it. Check out the Bring a Laptop show. I've done like my color theory-ish, about branding specifically. And I've done a few design theories, like picking fonts and stuff. So check out the Bring a Laptop show. And there'll be a card. It's there, isn't it? For those later on. But I talked about having another course from Lucas. There's going to be another course from Sarah Parkinson about color theory. So that'll be coming up a little after Lucas's course. Good questions. All right. Rick Rose, any timeline for advanced Photoshop certification? Not an actual timeline. It'll all be out very soon. It's not going to be years away. It's going to be weeks and months-ish. Okay. Silvanta, which should I learn, After Effects or Premiere Pro? Premiere Pro is easier and will help you get into After Effects a bit easier. That's my advice. And it depends what you want to do. Like, if you want to be a video editor or you want to be a special effects compositor, then After Effects first and then Premiere Pro afterwards. But the easier journey is Premiere Pro first. Philippines Cheeks, you're back. Does Adobe recognize your certificate and that I can present it in an interview? I'm an Adobe Certified Instructor of an Adobe Certified School, okay, but their official certification is different, okay, so it's not the same. They do something called Adobe Certified Associate, so go check that out, or Adobe Certified Expert, which is the level that I'm at, and it's not, Adobe Certified Expert is pretty tough, like, yeah, they were really hard exams. I've got to do my upgrades soon. I'm not looking forward to that. And I'm pretty good. So definitely look at the Adobe Certified Associate if you want that more tied to Adobe. There's no like official rules. Like the Adobe thing doesn't mean anything either. Like it's all about portfolio. Like it's not like the medical doctor or a lawyer where there's some sort of official governing body for being creative. They're just ways of markers to show your commitment, and whether you get it from Bring a Laptop or from Adobe, know that they are just signals to the world to say, I'm keen enough and I spent all this time doing this certificate and I've got proof. Demiana, can you make your courses with Arabic subtitles? We don't have them, do we? We've done English. Yeah, my trouble is knowing which languages to do. We've dabbled in Hindi as well, but I find, correct me if I'm wrong, is it that like you're doing my course, you have to have some knowledge of English, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So if your English isn't your first language and it's not very good, we've got 100% on Bring a Laptop, we've got 100% English subtitles on them all. We've spent loads of time doing that. Thank you, Larry. But other languages is tough because, I don't know, I feel like I feel like English supports the people that don't speak English very well better. We should do Arabic. We've thought about it. There's no direct timeline for it though. Devin Chapman, I want to have a bunch of settings to be the default for my videos. Things like fonts, sequence settings, etc., so that I don't have to recreate every time. Yep, we cover everything that can be. There are some things, anything that is a sequence, you can totally set as defaults. Set as presets. We can do presets with styles. That's new for Premiere Pro. It's really cool. You can do font styles, caption styles. You can share them across projects. It's really cool. Anything like, say you're doing things like I need a sequence for like YouTube stories or Instagram stories or something else that's just not in there. I don't know why they don't, but they don't have lots of useful. You can create all those presets and have those ready. You can do workspaces as well. Okay, we cover that quite a bit, how to like dig out some of the really useful stuff and set that so that it comes along every time you use it. There are some things that are project-based and Premiere Pro won't let you go across. It's not that many. There are some that you're just like, every time you start it back up, you're like, why is this per project and not per the software that I've got set? So we do cover everything that you can do. It's a big part of it. Anthony, hi from Canada. Hello, Canada. Do you touch on accessibility captions for videos? Totally. We definitely cover captions, captioning, closed captions, closed captions, transcripts, and like I'm not an expert in terms of knowing what, the teletext kind of format for specific captions are, but we go through it all and I show you where it is, and I'm honest about what I know about captions, but I definitely show you how to bring in like SRTs and like from a company that might have done your subtitling or your for the hard of hearing or for the deaf, and bringing that in and showing you how to apply it all and either burning it in as open captions or exporting it as part of a specific subtitling kind of format for different industries and different parts of the world. So I show you what all it is. I don't know exactly, I haven't had a lot of experience in that, so I get you pretty close to all of it. Thanks, Anthony. Pablo Chang, you and your team gave me the opportunity to provide to my family. Thank you so much. I am sure I will learn more new tricks for my business. Thank you, guys. That's really nice. Thank you, Pablo. Yusuf, get a little emotional. How long this course take to complete? Stephen in the comments, how long did it take you? It took you a couple of weeks of doing it. Maybe Stephen is our chief student Zen teaching assistant. You see him all the time in the Facebook group and all the comments on Bring Your Laptop. So it took him about 2.5 weeks, and he was doing it reasonably hardcore. He was doing it a couple of hours a day, not all every day, but so it's a long course. Like it is probably, I'm guessing about 13 hours, which is not that long. You can do that in half a day, but there's practicing and doing the exercise files and sleeping and eating. Junior Tavares, I'll take that. Any plans for future courses? Yes, we've got our next course coming up. Do I announce it now? Why not? You've waited this long through the video. Next one is going to be a UX course. It is going to be around, the software is called, man, it is late, it is hot. Let's drink this water while I try and think of the name of it. XD is competitor is, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to hold it and somebody's going to write it over there. Victoria, can you tell Taylor and get Taylor to write there? Man, my brain has gone mush. It is, did I tell you it's 30 degrees in here? 80 Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot. Anyway, I'll come back to that one. Kimball Chong, what are you by any chance going to make a Lightroom Essentials course for people who want to specialize in photo editing? I totally am. I'm totally doing a Lightroom course. It got beaten out by Figma. That's the one. Thank you, Victoria. So yeah, Figma is the next course that I'm about to start. It is a competitor to XD, and the question will be, which one should I do? Like learning DaVinci or Premiere Pro, it doesn't matter. I feel like they're kind of they're racing at the moment. Which one should we use? I want to support both people learning UX design, and I know Figma, so I'm going to do a course on that next, and probably a Webflow after that. And then I want to do Lightroom. There you go. Fish Dawn. Hey Dan, do you teach only basic UX or UI, or do you teach advanced techniques of the subject? I don't. I am too generalist to claim like advanced level UX. I've got plans to work with somebody to do it, but no, I love UX and I've spent a lot of time doing it, but I wouldn't claim to be advanced at it. There's some amazing people out there. I'd love to. I love being a generalist though. I love being a little bit of everything. All right, 2 more questions and then this is going to be it. What time is it? Oh, geez. All right, I said 15 minutes. We are well past that. 2 more questions. Keshav, is Media Encoder necessary? No. You can get by without it. You can export straight from Premiere Pro, but there are some cool features in it that you should bother learning. Watch the videos. It doesn't take a second to learn how to use Media Encoder. It's good and necessary. But no, not 100% necessary. Kinga, last one. Because of you, Dan, my skills have grown to a massive size. Woohoo! I am super happy that I found you, and you and your team made a great job. Plus the way you explain things is legit. Thank you, Kinga. Lovely, that is a great way to end. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, so the course is out. Go to bringyourlaptop.com. Join up. There is a competition for existing users and new users that sign up from today for a shirt. You can win a shirt like this. Going to be 5 for new people, 5 for existing users. Check out the Premiere Pro course and check out the Premiere Pro Essentials course as well at bringyourownlaptop.com. There'll be links below. That is it. Thanks for everybody. I'll read the comments with the comments going. We'll say goodbye. Bye, everyone. There we go. All right. Ha-da-da. Good people. I'll see you in the next one. Awkward ending. Finish. Not my worst. All right. Bye.